If you're out about what you do, men will approach you in the most disrespectful way you could ever think of. I don't know what goes through their heads, but to them, you're no longer a human. You're just an object. Even though it was like that to most of them in the first place. Very possible to develop some addictions, alcohol, drug use, whatever. It can happen. Don't let it happen. You will begin to lose interest in an actual love life because of how many of your customers are married or whatever. You're gonna realize so many men is just trash. You're gonna lose hope in an actual love life.
It broke my heart that I could never do it for him. I'll never forget the day we sat on our couch in the living room and he was like, I just want to have a really honest conversation with you. And I just want you to like tell me exactly what it is. Not this cute answer, not what you think I want to hear. None of that you've been telling me that you're working on it and it's just you and you in your head and all that. Like for real. And I told him the truth. It's a disconnect. Like I'm not naturally attracted to you in that way. And it's probably nothing that you can do about it. And his face, it was like, you remember Mortal Kombat when he would go in the chest and snatch the heart out? That's what I felt like I did. In this whole be honest with me, I was like, the man asked me for honesty and I gave it to him, but I don't think that that's what he was thinking I was going to say. And that was pretty much the beginning of the end of our relationship.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Then the weird part for us, that was when the whole open relationship dynamic was introduced and almost as a means to save our relationship. And in the moment, I didn't think that that's what it was, but I later learned that that was like last ditch effort and a really, really, really bad effort because it pretty much tore us apart. I wish we had never done it. I don't have a lot of regrets about anything in life. That's one thing I very much wish we never did. It wasn't for us. And that's also not something you should do to save your relationship. Threesomes, bringing other people into your bedroom to save your relationship, really, really, really bad idea. If it's something you all just like, you think it might be sexy or cool, great, knock yourselves out. But bringing a person in because you're trying to put a band-aid on something, super bad idea.
A lot of guys believe with all their heart that when a woman stops having sex with you, it's about manipulation. Okay? And while there are some women that do use sex as a manipulation tool to get what they want, it is not most women. She may have stopped having sex with you because she doesn't like you anymore.
Wow.
Yeah. She might love you, but she doesn't like who you have become in the relationship.
That's true.
Okay? And I don't know about you. I don't want nobody touching me who I don't like.
Men, don't think you get off easy because you get a chance to just run around and do what you want to do. You think you're getting off easy, but in fact, she's probably plotting, either subconsciously or consciously, a way to leave.
Facts.
So what's the fix? You know, the fix is you're going to have to put your ego to the side. Just sit down and be like, listen, I love you. I know you love me. But do you like me? Give her a chance to answer. Be quiet. If you can listen without a comeback, then that means you really listen.
Yep.
And then let her know that you want to fix it. Or you want to get back to connecting mentally and emotionally. And you say that, you're going to touch her. You know, something. I'm giving you game, man.
Yeah, huh?
And just let her know, what can I do to fix it? What do you need from me? And then receive what she's going to say.
Yep.
And then work on it.
Absolutely.
The black woman claims that the black man is such a dog because, in her view, he will always go for the promise of sex from a woman, even if he does not know her very well. She believes he is famous for one-night stands and would sneak off and live and have an illicit encounter and then return to her as if nothing ever happened. She hates this potential in the black man and calls him a low-down hound for this kind of behavior. She sees herself as above this kind of animalistic practice. Sex means more to her than that, or so she says. The truth of the matter is that the black woman practices the same exact type of sexual behavior if given the right opportunity. She will sneak around more cleverly than the black man, which is why she doesn't get busted as often. She may have no problem trying to have two men at the same time if she thinks her man is fooling around with another woman behind her back. She would try to pay him back by having another man, even if she doesn't really want to. She just can't allow him to be one up on her. Plus, she enjoys the feeling it gives her to see him carrying on his normal life without knowing what she is doing or has done. She tries to compete to the fashion, although it may turn her life into chaos trying to live a double life because she does not have the capability to love two or more men at the same time. She certainly cannot be a woman to two men at the same time. So one of the men she is dealing with is purely for fornication purposes. She would go to bed with one man on Friday, another on Saturday, and the following Monday, or maybe even the same night, and still pretend to be outraged and shocked about the black man's devotion to another woman. Her double standard is built on falsehood and an image she thinks she has to preserve about the honorability of womanhood. Part of her falsehood is her belief that black men deserve sex more often than she does. So she can never admit to him or herself that her own sex drive is a powerful motivating factor in her life and decisions as well. And this is something I learned probably in high school. That women like to engage as well. Women like to get it in as well. They have those same feelings as us, if not even more. They think about it just as much as we do. They like to do it too. Because, I mean, if men are out here just willy-nilly just doing it with everybody, well, if that man is a straight man and he's doing it with women and he's just doing it with all these women all the time, well, that must mean the women want to do it with him too. But they're humans. You're humans. You like to pleasure and be pleased too. You have sex drives too. And your sex drive can be just as high or the same as a man's too. You're human. It's okay to desire to have sex. It's okay. But I get it with the social aspects connected to a woman and her sexuality. So I get it with women believing that they have to repress their feelings and repress their thoughts about sex and sexuality, even with their partners. But I would say I do have a better understanding of sexuality and sex because I've studied it. So I understand that human beings and having conversations with women. Women enjoy having sex just as much as men. And that's okay. We are humans. Sexual desire exists evenly among both sexes, both men and women, both black men and black women. Right? Yes, we live in a society where it's more acceptable for men to brag about what we do and to be out in the open about our sexual prowess and our sexual activities and all that. I get it. It's more acceptable for us. I get it. But it's also, remember, this is a black man's guide to understanding. So, in the understanding of it, hey, yes, society says women are supposed to be having sex, but women have sex. You need to understand that. And they like to have sex and they like to be pleased. Right. So what goes into a woman's sexual desire being reinforced? Right. So let's read this though. She brags on her sexual conquest in the same way the black man is rumored to brag about his. She would explain to her friends in great detail about her activities in bed with a black man. She especially likes to tell about the size of his penis, what he says while copulating, his stroke, and whether or not he performed oral sex well. They would go into a minute by minute, blow by blow description about the encounter. If he does any oddity, she calls him nasty or other horrible names, and she and her friends laugh at him. It is a rare black woman who does not tell about her private sexual life with a black man. So if a black man has a woman with a best friend or several close friends, he can be sure that they know about his bedroom action down to the most intimate detail. And yep. And that's where a lot of black women go wrong. And now, some black men take advantage of that. Some black men understand the game and they use that to their advantage. Some black men don't know about that, and it could lead to their disadvantage because of their lack of performance. But the man who understands his performance and goes in with the understanding of I can perform well and I will perform well, and he does perform well. He understands that coming from that, he will have opportunity. He may have that will create opportunities with her other friends because she done told them how good he is. She told her friends everything about him, and the ones who the horrible friends that now they're curious and they want to find out too. So she just helped him out. But there are also some men who they may not do it for her like that, and that is to their that is to his detriment because they talking about him. They going in on him, and when he comes around, they look down on him. They talk down on him. But it's an understanding that the woman you're with, like, what are the boundaries? What is the respect in the relationship as far as when it comes to intimate details? Is she a woman who talks a lot? And if she does, well, you got to make the decision of whether this is somebody that you want to move forward with in a realistic manner. And if you have moved forward with her, well, you understand the bed that you've made. You understand the woman that you chose. When it comes to making decisions, man, we got to be good at it, right? Another highly deceptive activity she partakes in is to have sex with the man and pretend using her words or sounds that it feels better than it does. If she really wants the man, she will continue to mislead him about his wonderful libido and then talk about how he turns her off when he does this or that. She won't explain to the black man what makes her feel good and may not even tell him when it's painful. She thinks it is something she has to endure. She doesn't want to hurt his feelings. She tolerates the pain without flinching. Pretend to have an orgasm for fear if she tells him the truth, she may lose him. However, if she does not satisfy her sexual cravings, she will seek out and receive sexual gratification with another man or woman. Some of them are in marriages or relationships which last several years and never reveal their dissatisfaction about their sex life. She claims that her lacking sex life is unimportant as long as he takes care of the bills, is a father to the children, and remains married or with her. She secretly hopes that one day he will figure out on his own what to do and what she wants him to do. This hardly ever happens, and if it does, she becomes suspicious that he learned it from another woman, which in most cases he has. Nevertheless, he is charged with ineptitude for not satisfying her sexually. And that is unfortunate because you should be able to communicate your wants and your needs and your desires with your partner, especially when it comes to pleasing your partner. You should be able to say, hey, I like this, this, and this, and this. And if you do this like this for this amount of time, you will get the desired result. But I've also had plenty of conversations with women who did not feel comfortable talking about their having sex conversations with their man about their inability to please them. They didn't know how to talk to the man. They didn't even want to talk to the man. They just, like Shahrazad Ali said, they just really want him just to figure it out. They don't understand why they have to tell him anything as if he was just supposed to know. So some of you men out there, just understand, some women expect you to just know. Now, so also there have been situations where those women have come across some men and some men have been able to please them without them having to tell the man what to do. So because of that experience, she thinks that every man should have the ability to figure it out because, hey, he did. She didn't have to tell him, and it was good to him, and it was good to her. She was able to reach that point. She was able to reach that point, and she didn't have to tell him what to do. So if she didn't have to tell him what to do, then why should she have to tell you what to do? You should be able to figure it out like he did. Now understanding that, hey, that was a one-off. It ain't gonna always happen like that because, hey, even baby, hey, you got to learn some things, right? But it's the mindset of the woman that you're dealing with that you have to understand. In her mind, she should not have to tell you. This particular woman, you should just know. Because old Henry knew, old Jonathan knew, old Tobias knew. So why don't you just know? Not understanding that in order to truly please each other, you're going to have conversations. You're going to have to be able to talk to each other. You're going to have to be able to instruct. But you have to also be able to get with a woman who understands that. That's the whole purpose of the book. You understanding the women so you can get with one who understands better and does better. She will also use sex as a weapon against the black man. It is her most useful tool, she thinks. If he angers or displeases her, she will automatically go into sexual shutdown. It is a way to communicate her unhappiness with him. She will try to punish him by denying him sex until he submits to her idea or does what she wants him to do. She will continue the game for days or weeks when she feels it is necessary to make a point or whip him into submission. She is satisfied with the black man literally, She is satisfied if the black man literally comes limping back to her, crawling on his hands and knees, begging her to go to bed with him. The black man should beat her at her own game, and when she displeases him, he should deny her sex and see what happens. He will see fireworks like he never imagined. She is much more vicious when under the pressure of lack of sexual expression and is known to act like a plumb fool for her bottom, for like a plumb fool if her bottom is not happy.